everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to another fantastic episode of the Nollywood Dealmaker Show. And on this show, we, of course, talk to the stakeholders in the Nollywood industry. And you know where this amazing program is coming from, inside Nollywood, media. We bring you everything Nollywood. And today, I have an amazing guest. Like, it took me months to be able to have her come on the show, but I'm excited. And her name is, of course, Mrs. Gloria Ernest-Samuel, and she is an all-round media practitioner, an experienced research scholar, and educator. Good to have you on the show. Good afternoon, ma'am. Okay, I hope you can hear me though. So today we're going to be reviewing the Nigerian post-colonial film, TV, and industry. If you can hear me. So before we go into the topic of what we want to discuss today, let's get to know Mrs. Gloria a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about your educational background as a person?
Thank you, my dear. Gloria Ernest-Samuel is my name. I am a lecturer presently in Theatre Arts Department, Imo State University, Owerri. By aware of education, I don't know where I should start from. Is it from the smallest to the highest or from the highest to the smallest? Okay. Gloria Ernest-Samuel is a graduate of theater arts from the University of Calabar. I did my BA and MA at the University of Calabar, specializing in media and communication. And then I did my PhD in media studies from the University of Witwatersrand in South Africa. So by the grace of God, today I am a lecturer in theater arts department, also the subdean in Faculty of Humanities. So that is all I can say for now.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you for the amazing introduction. At least those that are watching us can understand the caliber of woman that we are talking to. Okay, so tell us a little bit about early years in the media. There was a time you were a broadcaster, I believe. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience in the media, in the broadcast industry?
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Before I started my adventure into the academia, let me start from when I did my youth service. I did my youth service in a media house, down a print media somewhere in Aba, yes, Abia State. From Abia State, I got a job to work in a media station also here in Owerri. Do I even remember the name of it? The Announcer Express is a private owned newspaper company. I worked with Announcer until I got a job with as a guest artist with NTA Channel 12 Owerri. In fact, it was in NTA that this idea of being in the media became very prominent. But I would say, because of my background, at the time when I was still an undergraduate at the University of Calabar, it was actually the booming point of Nollywood. So I was lucky to find out that so many of my classmates, with the boom of Nollywood, many of my classmates were in the film industry. So it was only natural that I took an interest and delight in Nollywood. And most of what I was doing around that time revolved around the Nigerian film industry. So it was also by accident that I chose, when I was doing my PhD, to work on Nollywood. For your information, it's important that you know that I worked on the role that MultiChoice, the South African media corporation, MultiChoice did, the role that the African Magic Channel played in Nigerian film industry. That was actually what I concentrated on investigating throughout the 3 years of my PhD research work. So somehow, because of that background, I've always found myself around either the film or the television industry. So that was actually what got me involved. So when I finished my master's degree, it was also very natural that I should work in the TV station from where I connected back to the industry till where I am today. So when we talk about the film in Nigeria, I think maybe it's natural that I'll find myself being amongst those. So when you talk about Caliber, I don't know about Caliber. I just know about the fact that as a young growing girl, who is interested in the TV. Remember, our age is actually the age of people who desire to either watch the TV or play around the TV. So it was a natural thing that I found myself where I am today. Although I may not really, in quotes, take myself to be any caliber. I'm just an interesting girl who was interested in the TV and who, by sheer maybe coincidence, found myself in the part of the film industry.
That's fantastic. Can you tell us about you've been in this movie around, the movie industry, the film industry for a very long time. Can you tell us a little bit about how the Nigerian film industry has evolved? Because it's been years. What would you say about the growth that the Nigerian film industry has experienced? I'm sure that you were already on board before it was even named Nollywood. So before the early years and what we have right now, how would you describe the growth in the Nigerian film industry, ma'am?
Talking about Nigerian film industry, movie industry, I find it difficult, classifying myself as being on board. But like I mentioned before, I see myself as and a very exciting girl who liked this exciting profession and so who tried as much as possible to be on the same pace with them. Somehow, I've not really been in the forefront, as you would say. Outside the fact that because I'm in the media, I'm always in a situation where I find uh, because of my background now, I find myself discussing issues that has to do with the film industry, following the industry developments as a media person. So I wouldn't remember I said I can't be classified as a caliber, so to say. So I would say I'm there. I would say I am one of those observers, one of those people interested in finding out what is going on in the industry. And then because of my position in the academia, it was only natural that I try as much as possible to look at what is happening there. I'll give you an instance. Why do I say so?
Okay.
These days, as a lecturer, when I speak to the students about, we talk about Nigerian film history and criticism, we keep telling them that the media are the the watchdogs, in the film industry because they try to guide the audience. So, as now a member of the academia, also trying to bring up our students to learn what they need to know about the film industry, it becomes important that we try as much as possible to be at the same pace with with developments in the industry. So, if that is what makes me a member of the caliber, then that's fine. So what we do is monitor what is happening, try to add our voice, and then try to also ensure that although we keep talking about maybe education in Nigeria deteriorating and things like that, we we have to at least try to ensure that we give our students the necessary history of what they should hold on to while they move away from the institution. So now, looking at the industry, as one, a fan of the industry, and two, as a scholar, it becomes important that we actually talk about what maybe the history of Nigerian film. Of course, yes, like you said, I have been around for a while, even before Nollywood came on board. Where, like someone like me, when I was growing up, we had the days of Willy Willy. I don't know whether you ever saw those those episodes of drama in those days, the era of Willy Willy, where somebody would just do their hands like this and vanish. You know that such crude plays,
About
they were dramas they were showing us.
yes, ma'am.
So now, by the time Nollywood started, we saw some of the people we used to see in our some of those local soap operas, coming into the film industry to play roles as actors. We have monitored them as they become even celebrities that they are today. So it becomes something worthwhile to talk about. Okay, let's take for instance, at the exception of Nollywood, where we have the living in bondage and circle of doom, all of those stories. We'll also look at it from the perspective of what was happening in Nigeria at that point in time. So what we'll say is it was an evolution that happened at the time it did, trying to mirror what was happening in the society, and also trying as much as possible to showcase perhaps the things that most of our directors at that point in time were trying to let us look into, change the taste of what we had previously to something that is new. And interestingly, today, the industry is blooming, the industry is changing, the narratives are changing, and then so many things are coming on board. Like in those days, okay, if we look at today, the kinds of what we have seen, like if from 1990, when we had the cassettes, when it was very normal for you to go and buy the cassettes of Living in Bondage and Circle of Doom, we have moved above such developments. Things are changing. Those are some of the things that we are seeing. And so for me as a scholar, we are still trying to understudy what is going on, trying to teach our students, and then trying to learn how to
Okay, so stay tuned. I'm sure that our guests will join us back almost immediately. You're still watching the Nollywood Deal Makers. And my name is JK. Like you already know, I'm always in your face every week. And we've been talking to Gloria Ernest-Samuel. She is a fantastic, fantastic scholar in, of course, the media space. She is an all round media practitioner. She is an experienced research scholar and educator, and presently a lecturer in theater art department in one of the universities in Nigeria. So stay with us. I'm sure she's going to join us back real soon. She has been telling us about the growth that the Nollywood industry has experienced in the past years and now. Today's topic is basically about the growth that the Nollywood industry has experienced before and after the pre-colonial era. So she's going to join us real soon, and so that we can continue all the post-colonial, pardon me, post-colonial era. So she's going to join us and continue because we still have a few questions to ask her. So stay with us, guys. Don't go. Stay with us. And Merry Christmas in advance from inside Nollywood. We are in December already, and we're already in the spirit of Christmas. I'm sure that you've already started buying gifts for your loved ones, shopping for your kids, for the fine girls like us, buying brand new hairs. Why some people are going on vacation, those in diaspora are going to come home and say hi to their family and friends. It's going to be an amazing Christmas. I already feel it in my bones. It's going to be an amazing Christmas. So we're still waiting for my guest to rejoin us on the show today. I apologize for that breaking transmission. I'm sure it's from her end. Let's just hold on and see if she can rejoin us until that we can continue our show. Okay, guys, how you all doing? We're still waiting for my guest. I'm sorry for that breaking transmission. I'm sure we're gonna do better in the coming year. Just stay with us, okay? Stay with us. It's gonna get better and better and better and better. I promise you guys. I promise you guys, honestly, it's gonna get better. Okay, welcome back, ma'am. Sorry about the break. I think it was probably network. I'm so sorry. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, I
Hello.
can.
Oh, okay. I think I thought
I
that was
can
from.
hear you, yes.
Okay, so was that like a network problem? Okay, so let's
I
just
wouldn't
continue
know. I was
about the show.
thinking it was from your end.
No, it was just you that was cut off. Me, I was still on the show, ma'am. But it's okay. Let's just continue because I know you have a meeting by 4 o'clock. So you were telling
Oh,
us
really?
about, the growth. Yeah, you were telling us about the growth in the Nollywood industry and the things that have occurred in the years.
Yeah. Okay. So I was trying to highlight the fact that I don't I don't consider myself as um, I don't consider myself to be maybe a big person in Nollywood. Why do I say so? I just see myself as an enthusiast, somebody who is excited by the industry, somebody who, by virtue of my profession, is in a position to groom young people coming up. So the idea of monitoring the industry now becomes very important because I need to be conversant with what is happening on in the industry in order to educate my students appropriately as expected. So what I end up doing is monitoring the development and then being able to open conversations and then lead my students aright. So now today we talk about Nollywood. It's something that started, and many of us were happy with that development because growing up as a girl, we were so used to Nollywood films, Hollywood films. We were so used to Bollywood. We liked to watch most of these Chinese karate, kung fu, films, such films. But it was nice for us to grow up at a time when Nigerian films became the talk of the town. And to believe that some of the people playing primary roles were some may be our classmates. So it was also very easy and very beautiful for you to enter the class. And while you are talking about the development in the industry, you could mention, Charles Novia was a year ahead of me in school, and Uche Jumbo was my schoolmate at Unical, and then it was an exciting thing. And initially, it started from that little way, but today they are all big celebrities. So now, when you want to talk to students in the class about the industry, you could actually, refer to them knowing that you are not talking about people they don't know. And because of that, it makes them also hold you to a higher esteem. So if I talk about myself as a big wig in Nollywood, that should be before my students, and not for the larger society, because out there, because I'm a teacher, many people may not know me, but my students, because each day, each year we turn them out, they are growing and growing. Then it becomes very important that they could talk about one or two celebrities, and they tell you, that one is my teacher's classmate. In fact, she came or he came the other day to see her in school and things like that. We can actually arrange for once in a while for them to come around and give talks to some of our students. So to the students who are our constituency, we become, important people that they could listen to. So for me, that's actually what makes Nollywood tick for me. It ticks because out there, I don't consider myself as anything in Nollywood, but the mere fact that perhaps most of the people calling the shots in Nollywood are my peers, my schoolmates, then I could relate. And when my students need to be taught properly, I could even invite them to the class and then talk to them. It adds a lot to not just my image, but even to the quality of what I bring to the table for my students. Thank you.
Wow, that is very insightful. I like the fact that you said, as much as you may think that you're not on the screen, so you're not a celebrity, but to us you are, because you are making a major impact on the lives of people that some of them you don't even know them later in life, but you have changed their lives. Ma'am, how do you, as a lecturer in the theater art department, how do you um most of the time I study mass communication in school, and in the long run majority of my classmates at the time went on to do something else. You understand what I'm saying? So it wasn't like a whole lot of the percentage that went on to do what I'm doing right now, working with the certificate, is not as it's not as many as we were then in the class. So
Yeah.
how would you rate the students that are being produced from the theater art department? The ones that have, would you say that a lot of the students that are coming from theater art department are actually going into filmmaking and staying in the film industry, or you would say that majority just find a way to do something else, or just do theater art for theater art's sake, or do they get discouraged? What exactly? How would you rate the percentage of people who goes on to become filmmakers after studying theater art?
Okay. Thank you for that question. I think I like that a lot. Okay, now I will still draw from my personal experience. By the time I'll tell you, by the time I graduated from Unical, um, that was 19, is it 1996 thereabout? I could tell you the class was approximately 66, but I can tell you that looking back, I don't think there are up to 20 of us within the corridors of the film industry or theater. I can tell you that free of charge. The implication is that you can say that perhaps one third of that class veered into some other professions. But currently, I'll just tell you, like the year one students in my department, they are approximately 160. Now, I was talking about how many years ago, and we graduated about 66. Now, the year one is actually I think, the lowest. We have approximately up to that, yes. Now, you find out that each time when we get from, that was what I used to do from the beginning of my career. Usually, I like finding out from the class the number of students who came into theater arts on their own violation. You'll find out that more than half may come to theater on their own violation. But you find out that maybe about a quarter came from MASCOM, those who did not meet up with the requirements, either because their jam score was low or one of those reasons.
So they
Aha.
just have for theater arts.
So yes, yeah, exactly. So instead of not maybe staying at home, they will now maybe come in through supplementary to enter the department. But I need to tell you, presently in my institution, from the present admission, the students we have now, okay, in fact, the forms that were listed last week by the university, theater arts was not on supplementary list, meaning that the number of people required were already filled up. So they didn't need to sell any forms for supplementary. And surprisingly, last section, the year one students who came in the class, when I asked them, how many of you came to theater arts because they chose to study theater arts? I will tell you about 97% raised their hands, showing that many of them came because they have, it was their choice, the course of their choice. It's no longer about the time when parents will tell you theater arts is this type of course that exposes girls, girls who go there or boys who go there are not serious people and things like that. People are learning now that theater goes beyond what they see. People are coming to respect the profession. Parents,
The
even the very religious ones, are learning to bring up to allow their students to study theater. So that goes to show you that we are getting the required recognition that the industry is actually impacting in the society. I remember, sorry to go back a little. Sometime, I think it was in 2006, immediately I came back from South Africa. I had a student who came to plead with me to talk to the parents that they were insisting she should change. That was in her first year, that they were insisting she should not study theater arts. And I spoke to the parents extensively, trying to explain to them all what theater was all about. But these days, I don't go through all of those. And it tells me that the impact of the industry is being felt by the society. People are learning that this is a noble cause that is capable of changing the society.
a
The problem we are, sorry?
I said it's a legit career choice.
Yes, exactly. So now, what we need, and these are actually some of the things that we keep submitting in conferences and seminars when we go outside of here, is trying to ensure that our filmmakers now realize that a whole lot is dependent on them in trying to fashion how they project this industry. Because we are capable of changing the orientation of our people. Yeah, please permit me to take us a little bit back. What we had in the last election period is something that one could, worry. But now I think it becomes the problem of the filmmakers making our films to start thinking of how to change the orientation of our people. So the problems, the time when we used to see um, Nollywood films as basically entertainment is gone. The time to see Nollywood as a platform to conscientize, the ideology of our people, try to use them, make them think in a certain way, the way we think that will benefit us and develop our nation is now. So, given the fact that people are taking us seriously, we need to now use the film industry to make statements.
That
Yes, network is affecting our flow because I barely can hear what you're saying. So, can I go on? Can you can you hear me? I don't know whether you can hear me because I'm not receiving any signal from your end. So what I'm
I,
saying in sorry?
I can hear you, ma'am. I'm hearing you clearly.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what I'm saying in essence is that the Nigerian movie industry has come to the stage where there should be a form of reorientation on the part of the filmmakers, the film producers. They need to come to the drawing table and realize that Nigeria is getting to a point where there should be an intervention. And if we look at, when we talk about the learners' theories and all of those theories that we study, it becomes important that we try to couch stories, narratives that should project the image of our nation the way we want it. If we talk about Nigeria not being divided, they should start building narratives that will show us that we are one. They should start building narratives that will empower our people to let them realize that the peanuts that the politicians give them to sell their birthrights during election should not be taken seriously. They should be able to now start making the people realize that the politicians are the enemy and that the interest of the nation should be primary, that we should not submit to any money bag who wants to buy their interest because of their own selfish interest. And the time, any day, the filmmakers begin to realize that they are in a position to call shots and change the situation of Nigeria, then we would have said Nollywood is waking up. But if not, I tell you, I'm scared of what the nation will be in the next couple of years, because the sham that we had in the last election should not be visited in any nation that is desiring to develop. I'll tell you.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much, ma'am. I understand what you're saying because the film industry has received so much recognition in the world. The African International Film Festival just concluded, last month, and it was amazing. We saw, movie filmmakers from Hollywood, filmmakers from Brazil, coming to Nigeria. They want to collaborate because Nigeria has a very large market and we're doing extremely well, with our movie industry. And that is why we, our filmmakers in Nigeria should take advantage of the platform to disseminate the right information, to create a mindset in the people. I'm sure that's what you're trying to say. Like the important things, the challenges of the society, the filmmakers should take advantage of it. Since a lot of people, a high percentage of Nigerians watch movies, we watch short films, skits, and everything. Instead of just entertaining and creating, doing comedy and all that, it is a massive, massive platform for us to create a mindset in the people, to change the society, to the right information, and to create the right culture in the people. That is amazing. Okay, so
Precisely.
okay, ma'am, you know that there's a tendency that people feel because acting can be a talent. Some people just feel, oh, I don't need to train to be an actor. I just I can talk and I have the mannerism, so I can just go and be, go into the movie industry. What would you like to say about how important it is to train, to be an actor, not just saying I have the talent? I was already passionate about my job before I went to study mass communication. I wanted to get professional, so I went to study. So give us, you are a lecturer actively doing that right now, and you are a lecturer in theater at the Pape. What would you say to somebody out there that is watching this interview and feels, oh, I already have the talent, I don't need to go to school to study mass communication? What advice would you give to that person? Or to study theater arts? Pardon me. What advice would you give that person?
Well, for me, I've always believed that any profession is a career, and so anybody taking up any should take it seriously. One, as a parent, I do not subscribe to parents imposing areas of specialization for their children. I frown at that. I believe that students should be allowed to make their choices. And so if somebody chooses to be a theater artist, when you are outside the four walls of the university, it's always common for people to see you as a theater artist, as someone who was going to act. Take, for instance, someone like me. When I was adventuring into the industry, I was thinking of really, yes, I was thinking of coming there to understand all the things that I need to understand. I never for once thought about acting. I'll have to be very honest with you. My mom used to tell me, you are a great critic. You like finding faults. That's why how she read criticism. But usually, at least to the best of my knowledge, anytime she wants to involve my criticism in the things around her, I notice that she involves me not because she thinks she wants me to find faults. She wants me to find the things that needs to be done rightly so that another person will not fault what she wants. So in that case, for me, criticism becomes something good, something to be used to better one's decision, one's expectation, whatever. So I've never seen criticism as something that is geared towards destroying or tarnishing someone's image, something designed to draw down or make somebody low. And that's the same way I look at this profession. So when I was coming into theater, I already told myself I was going to sit back and watch what others are doing and try to find out what they are not doing rightly in order not that may mar the image of what they are doing. So from based on that perspective, I see myself always. My husband says he doesn't like watching films with me because I find the faults that he couldn't see. And that is how I came to realize that I may be a critic, but not a critic geared towards tarnishing the image of someone, but a critic who will be looking out for things that will develop, this area, this field that I'm in. And
So
so when I chose this path, that was
uh,
what I was coming to do. And that was how I see what I'm doing. I never for one, in fact, I can count the number of plays I took part in, active plays that I played roles in. Just recently, sometime early this year, I took part in the first film, maybe a supporting role. And what I tried as much as possible was to ensure that I don't project the image. In fact, in the same film I acted in, I was casted as a lecturer. So, and what I tried to portray with my character was that those things I want a lecturer to be known for. A lecturer is not just going to be teaching you lectures. A lecturer should be able to open ears to the problem of the student, to help him because you are mother outside the home. And so, while acting that role, that was what I was trying to showcase. And taking you back to the question you were asking, I keep saying, if anybody wants to come to the theater as a theater artist, you need to first decide what you want to do as a theater artist. Are you coming as an actor? Are you coming as a choreographer? Are you coming as a critic? Are you coming as a media personality? What are you coming for? Choose that area and ensure, stick out your neck to ensure that you understand the rudiments of what is expected of you and project it properly. Otherwise, you will be damaging that profession. And if somebody compelled you to come to a discipline or a profession you don't like, you may not do well, you may not thrive well there because you are trying to live up to the person's expectations. So that is why I keep saying people should find the discipline of the love of their life in their profession, decide where they want to be, what they want to be, and work towards it towards actualizing it. For me, I'm a proud lecturer. Although my salary may not be anything, I'll manage myself. But I know that anywhere I am, some people may be receiving higher salaries, but I realize that the type of confidence I exude when I talk about my profession gives me that joy, and that is what matters to me. And that's the same way I try, to talk to my students. And I don't think I'll go beyond that. Thank you.
thank you so much, Ma. So finally, I just wanted to give us a little review about the Nigerian post-colonial film
I,
and TV. Hello, did you hear me, Mom?
yes, yes.
Okay. So in 2 minutes, just give us a quick review about that.
I didn't get what you're saying. The line is breaking. The
Oh,
line is breaking.
can you
Yes,
hear me now?
I didn't hear. Yes,
I mic to closer to my mouth. So I said in 2 minutes, just kindly review the Nigerian post-colonial film and TV industry for us. In 2 minutes.
I didn't get. You
Um.
you were talking about the is not clear. It's not clear.
I,
I can't hear.
okay. Can you mute your
I
own so
think the
that you
network is poor here.
mute your
I
mic
think the
so that you
network is poor.
can you mute your mic? Just mute your mic, ma'am. Can you mute your mic? Okay, you have muted your mic. Can you hear me now, ma'am? You can hear me. Let me know. Okay, okay, you can hear me better. So the question is, in 3 minutes before we end the show, I need you to please review the Nigerian post-colonial film and TV industry. Just give us a review of the post-colonial film and TV industry in Nigeria. Thank you, ma'am. So you can unmute now and speak. You need to unmute to speak.
Okay, when we talk about the post-colonial Nigerian film, we are looking at most of those films that are done, of course, post that is post independence now. Where do I even start? Like usually when we talk about, we'll start talking about we'll start from talking about now the period of, for see, I'm talking about this from the perspective of a scholar now, because I don't know how maybe somebody in the film industry, practitioner, like when you talk about people like Tunde Kelani them, they may look at post-colonial. So, but for me, as a scholar, we look at these large divide of when we have film in Nigeria. From the time when Nigerian filmmakers started making films till the present day. And so today, if we are talking about post-colonial films, particularly in Nollywood, the first thing that comes to our mind are maybe such films like Kunle Afolanyan's film, where we look at maybe narratives revolving around independence. There are so
Yeah.
many of them now. In fact, there are so many of them. We have how will I even remember? We have like 76. We have films like Olibri. Some of those films that talk about things happening in Nigeria till the present day. So it's actually very huge for us to start talking about them in 2 minutes. But what I can tell you is that from the beginning, all of those filmmakers were trying to look at the trends in our society till now. And presently, some of the issues that they are looking at are some of the ones that are actually affecting the fabrics of Nigeria. Let's take, for instance, now, um, Kunle Afolayan's Oktoberfest, which you and I know is a historical film from independence. If I look at it from another way, you try to see how Kunle was able to paint the picture of the crisis that is actually existing today. The crisis of people, maybe people trying to sacrifice others for ethnic problems or ethnic sentiments. If you look at that film critically, you see that. And you also see some of the the dark shades or dark sides of colonialism. That's what you see. But for recent films, when you look at maybe let's say Fourth Republic, some of these recent films that we are looking at, like today, you see, okay, let's look at a film like the Fourth Republic, which is maybe Nigerian politics. There is this other one, I don't know whether it's Mastermind. These are some of the films done here in Nigeria that are trying to also discuss critically some of the political problems that we have as a people. But the truth is that The problem we are having as a society is the fact that most of us, while so many of us are, desire to watch films, we have not come as a people to start sitting in places to talk about how some of these films really discuss or have, treat some of the issues happening to us as a people. Because the impact of such films will make more meaning when we start having programs where people can actually for example, if you look at this last film, which both whether it's King of Boys or some of these new, what's the name of this other one, where you are seeing practically realize that we need to start talking about them. It's not enough for us to leave film viewership to people to digest and go home with any form of belief without critically addressing them. I think for me, that's actually the problem we are having now. We should have more shows like the type you are doing, but the one that will involve more prominent people coming to discuss films for what they are worth. Films that are capable of opening our eyes to some of the things that we do not see. By that time, we will make more, the film industry is going to make more contribution to our well-being. And like I was telling you before, I'm just trying to wrap this up because you gave me 2 minutes. Like I was telling you before, if those in the media, and who are interested in the film industry, you start designing programs that will enable people talk about these films, whether they are filmmakers or film critics. And these programs are disseminated to the public, even in local languages. They will go a long way. Because it's not enough for us to sit here and blow grammars, and at the end of the day, the village woman in the rural area who does not understand the implication of maybe perhaps taking 5 cups of rice to vote a wrong person because of money, he or she will not be able to know the import of that decision. But when we start analyzing films, bringing them down to local languages, then we will, impact on the citizens and the society. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That is so, so
So
fantastic. And something you have said that is also important that I feel that we need to still discuss on the show is this last thing you said about probably translating some of these movies into local dialects that people can relate, because the people who are doing these things, they do not even know the effect of what they're doing and how dangerous this thing is to the society and how it is going to affect
yeah,
them. But understand what is at stake, I think it will make a better choice. Thank you so much, Ma, for being on the show. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It's still the Deal Maker Show, Nollywood Deal Makers. And I've been talking to the amazing Mrs. Gloria Ernest-Samuel. She's a present lecturer, theater lecturer in Imo State. Thank you, Ma. It's been an honor having you on the show. At this point, I would like you to tell our listeners and our viewers bye bye. Thank you, Mom.
thank you so much. And I enjoyed this 40 minutes in your program. I
Yes,
appreciate
ma'am.
this.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mom. So, thank you for joining us. Remember to join us again on Saturday, every
Thank
Saturday.
you.
Bye bye.
It's okay. Thank you so much. Bye.